I don't want to just stand on stage and just hold the mic and say, I want to be excited. I want to be feeling this, and I want you to feel it too. And I want this push and pull. I want to take this to the biggest level that it can be taken to. And who knows what that is? Who knows if God strikes me down tomorrow? But
come break me and take me.
You know, there's other people going through these things, and you want to relate. And you know, I go back and tap into that feeling that I was feeling when we were going through it, and kind of like. I feel like that was such a cool 1-2 punch on the record where you go synthetic soul. It's just got a lot to it. It's just got a lot of what I Prevail is into that song.
What's up, guys? My name's Joe. Welcome to the podcast. Today's interview is brought to you by FanDuel. Violent Nature has been out for a couple months now.
Yep.
How do you feel with it?
I feel great, man. It's getting to play some of these songs live now. We've had it was in the middle of releasing when we were touring Europe and these festivals, and getting to play some of the singles just felt fresh and fun, and seeing the reaction, especially over in Europe. And I mean, we had the first single out, Violent Nature, when we did Summer Aloud, and played that, and it's always fun to have like how do I put it? First song that comes out and have a line in that song and be like, all right, how many shows do we play until I don't have to sing this one line again? I can hold the mic out. And man, it felt like 5 or 7 shows where I was like, I don't think I have to sing that part anymore. And that is such an awesome feeling, especially like a new song, really fresh out the gate. It's only been out for, it was a few weeks at that point. So now we went to Europe after that, played a couple more new songs, and you still get the fans that are like, oh, I don't know this song yet, and they're standing and watching. But if they're standing and headbanging, you're like, okay, well, they're at least feeling it. And yeah, so now I'm just itching to get back out on the road and put another song or two in the set. So playing them feels great. It feels awesome, and seeing the response has been overwhelming. It's truly been great.
At this point in your career, what does it feel like for you to put a new song, especially a new single, out into that set list? Do you get nervous?
Oh yeah. Because there's
because you have old fans, you have new fans, you have fans that you got to try and turn now.
Right. So that we're just talking now. I just had a Zoom call with the boys back home, starting to piece together the set for the coming year, and yeah, it's this delicate balance of like, all right, we're opening for 3 Days Grace. I think we have like a 50-minute set. All right, what can we fit in? Or can we fit in like 12 songs? All right, well, out of those 12 songs, we got to play these 4. Okay, well, if we're playing those 4, this balances out. So we got to play this 5th one. And that kind of like, you look at your Spotify top 5 or top 10, you got to throw those in there. And then it's like, okay, well, then we put a couple of singles off the Violent Nature record. Well, now we got like a spot or two. Which one do we want to play? The one that we really want to play? Do we want to play the one that was a single, like a later single on the album, like Annihilate Me or Pray? So it's that delicate balance of making sure that fans that are coming, have been around for 10, 11 years, are still happy to see us play some of the older stuff, but then also the excitement of playing the new stuff, and trying to walk that line of like, all right, we're doing a job. We're making sure. So when you come to a show, and it's very important for us to remember that sometimes fans come out, they're spending their hard-earned money. They get one show this summer that they're going to see, maybe 2, and they're there to forget everything that's going on in the world, and just lose themselves for 4 or 5 hours that night. And you don't want to bore them to death by playing stuff that they don't want to hear, or that they're like, oh, yeah, I remember that deep cut, even though we love to play it. So we gotta remember that, our fans, they're there to support us. We want to play what they want to hear, but then there's something behind playing the songs that we really want to play, that we know we're gonna go out there and we all 5 of us really want to play it. There's something special in that performance that it's just got that 5% extra, because we're super excited to play it. When we play something from 8 years ago, it's still in our DNA and still in our bones. We enjoy playing it, but there's that shiny new toy factor where it's like, oh boy, we get to show people this song live now. And so it's just walking that line of especially when it's a shorter set, like 50 minutes, it's it's tough. It's tough. Sometimes you got to make that decision to cut that song that you're like, oh man, I really want to play that, but maybe the next tour. The next tour will play that.
What's up, guys? Real quick, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the wild card round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. Pick the matchups you believe in. Take your shot on an upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Thanks to FanDuel for sponsoring the podcast, and now back to the interview. When do you think you really mastered the scream to not blow out your vocal cords?
I feel like I'm always still trying to find new techniques or new ways to, not, I don't want to say cheat, but like when I record, I'm going to dump in this one part. It's going to be this like low, and I'm going to dump everything I got into it and make it just feel visceral and aggressive.
Can you do that on any given day?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you right now, but like if you needed to right now, you could just.
Oh, I could bust it out. Yeah. But especially with this record, I wanted to even push the boundaries a little bit more of like, first record was full length was Lifelines, and it was like, all right, I don't want to not flex, but like it should just be down the middle, nothing crazy. And then the next record's like, all right, I want to put a little bit lows. I grew up a deathcore kid, death metal fan, and still am. And
who are those artists that you listen to?
oh boy. I mean, Slipknot's not death metal, but that was the first one that was like the aggressive, heavy stuff that got me into like, oh, I can feel pain in this dude. Like I can feel the anger. And then from there, it was bands like the Acacia Strain, Whitechapel was a huge one for me, and Cannibal Corpse a little bit. I just changed. I was wearing my Cannibal Corpse shirt earlier, but yeah, those were some of the big three for me. And then Bring Me the Horizon. When I found that band, they had their EP out, and then I think it was called Count Your Blessings, and that was the deathcore, grindcore, whatever era of Bring Me. And it was cool as every record they put out, they kind of changed their sound a little bit. So it was just like every time they had a new record out, my taste kind of changed, and my taste changed the next record. So yeah, Bring Me was a really big band for me to like really open my taste. Like, so I went from like found when I changed schools, I was at a private Catholic school from 7th grade all the way up to 7th grade, changed schools into 8th grade, and a buddy gave me a burned CD. I don't remember, we were talking about music or something, and
A burned CD.
a burned CD, if you guys know what that is. But
LimeWire, Kazaa, it went somewhere.
Yeah, the LimeWire was I killed many family computers with that. But yeah, I was like, Metallica, I know One and Enter Sandman. He goes, oh, here, Burn Me, Ride the Lightning, and that blew my mind. It altered my brain chemistry, and from then YouTube started being a thing like a couple years after that. And I'd find, well, even before that, you remember Comcast or like the cable channels when you had the box and you can go through like Fuse TV or Headbangers Ball, and then you see all the music videos. I found so many bands that way. So when YouTube became more of a thing, I find that music video, and then all the related, I click on related, and I find the heavier thing, and I find the heavier thing, and I found so many new obscure-ish metal bands through that, and I just got sucked into that hole. And
Are you screaming in your room realizing that you can do this?
I think it was like Slipknot, Under Oath, a little bit of System of a Down, that I was like, what are they doing? How do you do that? And yeah, doing that. It's funny, I've never really brought this up, but when I was playing baseball, I played baseball since I could walk till college, and I was playing middle infielder, I was catching. And when you're calling out to the field, like 2 outs or go 2, or whatever, that I was like, oh, this is the perfect time to try and just yell and put that rasp or whatever it is. And then shortly after that, I was driving to school in my little yellow S10, and had the iPod jack, and that would be my 7-minute or 10-minute drive to school. Was all right, I'm gonna just start screaming, I'll figure it out. And once I stopped coughing up blood and going, oh, that doesn't hurt, oh, that must be how to do it, I found that one like register, like the screamy high or fry, or whatever they call it. And then you hear Cannibal Corpse, I'm like, that sounds different. And you hear Whitechapel, and you're like, that sounds different. How do they do all these things? So I was just talking to someone the other day. I was like, I think, looking back in like the the emo scene, hardcore days of like early late 90s, 2000s, you hear those records and you're like, how do they do that? I gotta sound like that. I'm gonna figure that out. And then you hear more deathcore and bands that like they were layered. Like there's the low layer and then someone screaming in the middle, or like they would overdub on the tracks. And I didn't know what that was. I just thought they just did that by themselves. So like, okay, well, I got to figure it out. And I think now in the last like 10 years, maybe even longer than that, I think that's why now you got like people like Alex the Terrible from Slaughter to Prevail, if you're familiar. Like you got all these metal vocalists that the ranges are crazier and even more. Cause I think I grew up thinking like, oh, you just got to do that at once, not realizing that there's multiple tracks or a second vocalist or whatever. So
Right.
I think just over time, you know, the vocalists kind of evolved. It just, you know, you started here, and now all these vocalists can do all these crazy things like, you know, pig squeals and breeze and all that stuff. But
What metal vocalists today really blow you away?
there's so many. I mean, Ollie Sykes, Bring Me the Horizon is incredible. But if we're going like metal, Whitechapel, Phil Bozeman, I mean, that dude, that record they just put out this last year is like my favorite record of 25, and it just feels like a continuation of like their first two records, and the vocals are so brutal. He's a legend, dude. He's a legend, and the fact that he's been doing it this long, growing up, was like, especially early days with this band touring and having not to just go, oh, I'm gonna scream along in my truck for a couple songs. Oh, my voice is tired. How does this dude go out there and do, you know, 5 shows a week and tour for 6 months of the year? And then to see him do it still to this day, I'm like, oh, it's possible. You just got to take care of your voice and find the proper technique. But he still sounds better than he's ever had. So he blows me away. He's an inspiration of mine. But
How do you keep it refreshing for both you and the fans after all these years?
that's a great question. I think going back to what I was saying, like the early records, where it was just like, all right, I'm just gonna do this straight down the middle scream, and then the next record incorporated a little bit of rapping, and then a little bit more of the influence of the deathcore, like low screaming in it, and then True Power was like, all right, I want to try and expand the range and the sound of the vocals, just from what I can do.
This is as you're expanding on your own talents.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh.
then now this last record's like, all right, well, let's do this. Man, we did an acoustic song, Crimson and Clover, and it's just delicate, you know, very delicate, very intentional on the delivery of how I'm singing, and then we have a song called God, and it's like every deathcore trope that we could squeeze into a song. It was funny because it was like, let's just no chorus. Let's just keep. All right, we do this death metal trope, and then the next thing is like, all right, how do we top that? How do we top that? How do we top that? Well, then I had the same approach with the vocals. It's like, all right, I just want to flex on my range. Like before I Prevail, I was like in deathcore bands and metal bands, and that's what I love doing. And now to be able to 11, 12 years later into I Prevail, be able to flex what my passion was vocally growing up into our music is really cool.
Do you have to try and be conscious of how much range you deliver on that recorded track because you know you're gonna have to do it live?
This record in particular, going into writing, it was in the back of my mind, but we have this like kind of mindset in the band's like, write the best song, track it, make sure it sounds the best it can be. It's a future Eric problem. I'll figure out how to do it. But yeah, there's some choruses that I'm like, oh man, I'm up there belting it. We'll figure it out, and just go home and just, you know, driving the car or at home when my fiance's at work. I'm just walking around, singing around the house. I'm like, no, that didn't feel right. Just do it again. Just do it again. Oh, okay, I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling where it feels locked in. It feels like I'm not pushing too hard, or I'm not flat on that note. But it was something that I was like, you know what? We're just gonna write the best record, deliver the best vocal performance that I can right now, and we'll figure it out. On the other side of the bright side of that, or the positive side, is that when now we go tour that, once I lock that in, I feel like, all right, after a year playing some of these songs, well, I'm ready to write and push it even further, because now I feel comfortable doing these things that when you're writing, you're isolated, you're in a room, you're writing the parts, you go and you track it, and you're like, oh, okay, that feels good, that sounds good. You do it over and over till you get a good take. And then now you're touring these songs, you're playing them every night. Now I'm kind of sinking in and going, okay, now it's like a muscle memory. It's not a thing that I'm like, okay, gotta reach up to that note. Okay, and then I gotta be delicate with this delivery. Okay, I gotta full force this and send this note. Now it's like, oh, it's just this muscle memory. So going into this, when we get back to writing, I feel like it's just gonna elevate, and it just won't feel as much of a hurdle to jump as it is like, okay, now I'm just fading the fader up a little bit, trying to push a little bit more and squeeze out whatever else I can.
How do you feel that your abilities have evolved from when you first started till now? From that first cover that you dropped?
Oh yeah, I think man, a lot, dude. It's funny, like looking back on that era is kind of like when you do a class project in 8th grade and then you're working on your thesis in college. It's like you're looking back and
Such a good comparison.
you feel like, man, I was just a baby back then, and at that time I thought I was doing all I could. Now it's like, I look back there, and when we play those old songs, when we throw them in the set, it's like, man, I wish I would have done it this way, or man, I wish I would have done, but I wouldn't have been able to. It was just natural growth of becoming better vocals. I was not a good vocalist back then. We didn't play lots of shows. Even my local bands, we didn't play. It was like a show a month every now and then, and you could just dump it all, leave it on the floor, and I went back to work, and 3 weeks later we'll rehearse and play another show. Now it's like, all right, we got a 6-week tour, 4 shows a week, a week off, fly to Europe, do three weeks of festivals where it's like hot and humid this day, hot and dusty this day, it's rainy and humid this day. That was I don't want to say inspired a lot of growth, but that just forced you to be rugged and have stamina, and that's something I didn't have back in the day and just had to practice with, and breathing control, and all right, I can't use this technique for the whole set because I'll just wear out. I gotta not cheat, but instead of doing, I don't know what they call it, like false chord, where you're pushing more and it's more energy being expelled and more breath being expelled. Or I'm do this fry thing where I'm just like, yeah, like doing this, like finding shortcuts where it still sounds good, it's still performed right, but it's not taking a whole toll on my voice in the first week of tour.
Can we go back to the beginning of the momentum of when you dropped that Taylor Swift cover?
Yeah.
Did she ever acknowledge it?
No.
She hasn't brought you out on the Eras tour?
No, not yet. But yeah, that's funny because we were the first cover of that song on YouTube, but then shortly after, she's the biggest artist in the world, so it kind of gets bogged down with all the other amazing covers. So yeah, I'm curious if she ever like goes and looks and be like, I wonder who's covering my songs and scrolling through YouTube.
I Prevail.
Yeah, who is this hairy guy?
Was there momentum once that came out for everything?
Oh yeah, that was absolutely the catalyst. So we wrote the EP in a year of, we all had full-time jobs. I was working at a factory and taking shifts at IHOP, and then I was living at home at the time, and I was like, oh hey, I got a double this week or this night, and then I got 2 shifts at the factory this weekend. I'm just gonna go stay with my friends. I was actually driving out like an hour north to go to this studio and write. So just under wraps, quietly working on this EP. And then in one weekend, we may have heard a leaked version of the album, and went through and we're like, this song, I think we make this kind of heavy and feel like one of our songs that we've been working on. And in a weekend, we wrote that song. It's funny, we wrote the whole EP in over a year, and then one weekend we wrote the cover. We dropped the cover, and it was at the same time that Taylor Swift took off her music off Spotify and Apple and streaming, and the video and the single, it became a single video for it. So the only way you could really hear was on the radio or YouTube. Well, if you typed in blank space on Spotify, we're the only band with a Spotify or with a song called Blank Space. YouTube, you see the music video right underneath, it's our music video. So just, I equate it to, you got to have the skill, you got to have the timing, but there's a lot of luck involved. And how all that went down, her making that a single, it just timing was perfect. Luck was on our side. And then I think it was like a week or two after we dropped the EP, and all the videos we already filmed, they all at the end kind of like, oh, thanks for checking this out. Go check this song out. So there was a lot of momentum being pushed to our next singles. I think it was only a couple months after that we were signed, we had a management, and we were on the road.
You leave your job.
I quit my job, and I've been on the road ever since. It's looking back, I'm like, man, we got to be living in a simulation. There's no there's no way that this just all worked out well. And then we knew that we had to put out something to follow up. So there's a lot of yapping that was like, oh, they're just a cover band. They're not gonna last. Oh, it's just, oh, that Taylor Swift cover band. Man, we did one cover. Like, chill out. But we knew we had to follow up with something strong, and we just put all our time and energy and effort into writing the next record and making sure that it was the best that it could be. And that it paid off. That record did well. We toured it. We got to shortly then start playing all the songs off that record, couple off the EP and the cover, and then following that, the next record, we kind of shelved the cover, played more off the Trauma record, a little bit off Lifelines, and then after that, it was like, I feel like after Trauma, it was like, no, say what you want. We did something fun, 6 years ago at that time. Now you're not getting rid of us. We're gonna, we know what the identity of I Prevail is. It's not this cover. It's I Prevail, and always be forever grateful for everything that came from that, for what it did for our career. But it was a very conscious effort to go, no, we're not a one-trick pony. We're here to stay.
Looking back on those first years as you guys are entering the festival circuits, how are people treating you as the new guys?
I feel like we were like that. I feel like we were like that transfer student. Like, I feel like the same feeling I had when I went from this small little private school to a big public school in 8th grade. It was like, okay, there's a lot of things different. There's these cliques. There's just new rules to the game. There's new, like, you're not in this little isolated pod anymore. You're in the real world. So when you do a tour, you get to know the bands. Well, then we're going to these festivals, and it's like, me as a fanboy, I'm like, oh my God, there's just everyone that I love here, and just keep it cool. And yeah, we just had the mentality to just go up there and show why we deserve to be here. We're not just some little fluke that just squeaked in. We're gonna show that to our best of our capabilities at that time. We're gonna put on the best shows possible and show that we belong. All these other bands that have been around for a few years, 10 years, and now we're sharing the same time slots. We're playing the same stages, and I know there's bands out there. Some of those people became some of my best friends in the touring world that all admitted that, yeah, I kind of had a little side eye, like, what are you doing here? You're in a bandwagon already? Like, you're not in a van? Like, we'll see how long this lasts.
Oh,
And
because you went so far up.
we went right into touring. We were like, all right, not taking any money out of this. We're putting it all right back in for the first few years. And
Oh, is that really how it was?
yeah, man, I was still like, I had nothing saved. I was just scraping by, but you just had to do it. Just keep investing in this dream. And so yeah, we had people that were like, you didn't tour in a van? I'm like, no, but I also not taking any money. I'm putting it right back in. We're gonna be here, and we're gonna show why we deserve to be here. And so yeah, had that feeling, and I think that fueled us for a good amount of time in the best way. That was like, you don't think that we belong here because we didn't grind and hustle. We just did it in a different way. And yeah, time will tell. We'll prove that we deserve this spot. We deserve to be where we're at, and just not nose to the grindstone.
As you guys are going along and you're playing more shows and you're writing more albums, is everyone filling in their role for the band of where their talents fit in, as far as like making sure everything runs smoothly?
Absolutely. Everything was, we went through different managements. Then we were signed. The label was, it was good in the beginning.
What was
Now
the
it's
first one?
great.
Was it Fearless?
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been with Fearless since day one. And so we had our management, we had the label, but we were very proud to be like, no, we have a vision for like how we want our content to be. We have a vision of like what we want the merch to look like. We have a vision what the show wants to look like. And
That's all
until
you guys.
yeah,
I
even
love that.
the content now, our drummer Gabe it's all inclusive. It's all of us putting the effort in, but that's Gabe just crushes it with our content and the branding of the content. Steve is like our business guy. Like he's he's looking over the deals and the fine print and reading it over and explaining it, breaking it down for us. And I'm lucky to be just, hey, you just focus on the show and be the best front man you can be.
I can do
Also,
that.
yeah, easy. And then also like, when it comes to merch, like I'm keeping an eye like what looks cool and what like sending ideas to our team and be like, hey, looking for something like this. And yeah, we all have it feels like a strong role, like identity in I Prevail, of what makes I Prevail. And I think that's our biggest strength. It's not just, it works for other bands, but you have the one guy that's got the vision, and he's got a team behind him being watching the financials and watching all the deals and the business side of things. But it's one guy that works for some bands. For us, it's we find our roles and we just work at them and make sure everything's well oiled and moving along, and have we all live pretty close to each other, so it's like we'll have check-ins or doing a content day in our building where we'll have little check-ins and touch base like how things are going. And we joke and we call ourselves a business metal because sometimes it feels like we're running as it should, we're running a business rather than just being in a band and playing music.
For those early days, you guys are scraping by, you're putting everything back into it. Is there any big paychecks or advances or merch cuts or anything that sticks out to you like, oh wow, we're doing something right?
It was after a couple years, it's like, okay, now I'm able to pay my parents back. I can start putting money down and start saving to rent a place or anything like that. Then it was around trauma for me that was like, oh, okay, now it's like this is not just a job that I'm scraping by. Now I can start putting some money aside and taking care of myself and taking care of the ones around me, my family. And yeah, it was that album, that era are a special place in my heart, because on one hand we got Grammy nominated twice on that record. We were touring the biggest rooms and shows that we've ever done. We were making connections and friends with people in the industry, other bands that felt genuine and felt authentic. But then on the back half, I'm like, I'm not trying to portray this life and then going back home going like, all right, I got to figure out how I'm going to get by this week. It felt like, okay, this is not just my job. This is my career. And I'm so blessed to be doing this and being where we're at. But that hunger of where I was and scraping by is still there. It's still embedded in my DNA of like, no, keep grinding. There's more to do. There's more to obtain and more to grow this band and reach out to more people with. So that mentality is always embedded in our DNA.
With the lineup changes, is that fire even more reignited now? Because it's almost not like a rebrand, but there's just new things happening.
It's you can't deny there's a new sound, and it's me singing. So there's that little bit of uncertainty of all right, we're gonna keep writing the to how we know we're gonna, me and Steve been writing lyrics and music for the band since day one, and that's never changed. So the core is still intact, but the mouthpiece that it's coming out sounds different, and that's just undeniable. It's gonna sound different, but we focused on just keeping true to what I Prevail was sound wise, what we're writing about lyric wise, what the songs feel like. So there was that little bit of uncertainty, but it had to be squashed down with confidence of like, no matter what happens, we're not just gonna give up and hang our hats up. We built this over 10 years. I don't want to let it go just yet. Whatever it's gonna take. If it means touring more, if it means putting out more music quicker, if it means whatever it is, we're we're not quitters. We're just gonna keep pushing.
With the new era, where do you see it going now?
That's hard to say, man. I'd love to just keep growing. I'd love to play countries that we've never played.
What's on that list?
Man, we've been to some only once, like Japan. We've been there once. The Nordic countries, I think we've been there once or twice. It was Spain, man. We played Portugal for the first time this last summer, and I think we ended in Italy. Flew right over Spain and went to Portugal for the first time. I'm like, man, we just stop in like Barcelona or something. Can we play? So there's a list of countries that I'm like, we get Mexico, man. We've yet to play like a proper Mexico tour, and they're just our neighbors down.
That's so
the road.
shocking.
Yeah. So there's a lot of places that we have yet to play or go back to. So that's on the list. Yeah, yeah. I want to take this to the biggest level that it can be taken to, and who knows what that is. Who knows if God strikes me down tomorrow? But until then, me and the boys are just gonna keep grinding and working and trying to connect. I'll put it this way, man. I, growing up, found some bands that really inspired me, really helped me through like the dark teenage angst, and I took a lot out of music. I took a lot out of those lyrics. I took a lot out of just that music, and I just wanted to put something back out. And you give, you take, you give, and I feel like we've been blessed to do that over the last 11 years, and I want to do that for another 20.
With the music that you're taking, you're watching Headbangers Ball. Are those reasons why your music videos are like movies and they're so in depth and they're so good?
Thank you.
Like they actually are.
Thank you. Yeah, man. You don't have MTV anymore. You don't have TRL. So music
MTV
videos,
just died.
I saw that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, to me, it kind of died when it was just all reality and not music. But besides the point. Yeah. So it's a high cost. It's a high cost for videos to make these videos and make them appealing and eye catching and stand out.
Do you know how much they are? Can you say?
A lot. I don't know I can't remember the budget off the top of my head of the last few, but between sometimes you get them done for 30 to 50 to a couple hundred, and I know some bands that have spent $500,000 to $1 million on music videos, and
do they see the return on that?
it's hard to say because like you don't see a return off the streaming, like you're not making that back on the streams of the video. It's more of like a marketing tool, so you can take that video and you get fans that come in and never seen you. Now they have a face to the voice, they have a face to the sound, but you can also, you clip these videos and you can use them for YouTube shorts, Instagram shorts, or Instagram reels, TikToks, whatever. So it's just kind of builds into the marketing budget. So it's kind of hard to say, like, do you see that return on the video? No, but you have now more marketing tools to spread. And those kids that have never heard of you, maybe they come to 2 shows this year and buy 3 pieces of merch over the 6 months, and then go ham on Christmas and buy their friends a shirt and a CD. So it's, did that video inspire that kid to check us out and become a fan? How do you equate that to dollars and cents? But it's doing something. So it's kind of the age now that we're in. It's like, all right, well, this video, some bands can put a video out and get a couple million views in a month, and that's incredible. Some bands put out, a music video, get a couple 100,000, but that ties into, like I said, the TikToks and the reels and the growth of the socials, and that socials growth feeds the algorithm. That algorithm feeds it to other people who've never heard of you. Could you have done that with, just your iPhone and a clip of you, doing a vocal cover or a playthrough? Maybe, but it's hard. It's hard. It just doesn't, like, it's hard to just go, this equals this,
Do you have a favorite music video of I Prevail?
Oh man. Yeah. I think Self-Destruction was really cool. It just the filming of that was fun. But on this last record, Violent Nature just turned out so sick. We worked with Ori McGinnis, and he's awesome. He's incredible. He's got a good eye for things. Yeah, I think Violent Nature would have to be my favorite of the new cycle so far.
With a song like Violent Nature, the lyrics are lyrical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you pull that inspiration from it for it?
So each song's a little different, with like other songs like, like Crimson and Clover, Into Hell, it's a breakup song or it's a relationship song to my fiance, and those come from like this story or this feeling, or the breakup song. It's like it's been years since I've been in that relationship, but like there's other people going through these things and you want to relate, and I go back and tap into that feeling that I was feeling when we were going through it, and kind of like it's like going back and picking a scab so it can heal finally. You have this insight after years of looking back on it, but you have to put yourself back in that feeling to be authentic. Violent Nature, on the other hand, sometimes you just have a song where had this idea for the tapping part for the chorus, and the intro. We're like, it just needs to start and go balls to the wall, 0 to 100 right off the first 2 seconds. And I think we each have like lyric notes that are just like, had something pop in your head, you write it down. I'm sitting at the hotel, I'm like, oh, that line was cool, let me try and add to it. But one lyric that he had was Violent Nature. He goes, I just had this thing that just felt cool, and then I phrased it over the instrumental part. I was like, oh, that kind of feels sick. And yeah, that was just more of a visceral song. It wasn't meant to be like this lyrically depth, like have this depth of lyrics. It was just, sometimes I listen to slam metal and grind metal. There's not a lot of lyrical content. It's just pig squeals and breeze, but like you feel it, you feel deathcore. Sometimes some of the best deathcore songs are just, just it's just metal stuff, but I'm not discrediting the whole genre. There's a lot of emotion in a lot of that. But some of those songs are just like, I'm feeling this fucking rage right now, and I'm just gonna tap into that. It doesn't have to be anything poetic or deep. It's just, keeping in mind the live show. Some of these kids come out and, they're 9 to 5, they're parents at home, their relationship, they're this conflict they're having with someone. They're trying to escape that. And that's a good moment for 2 minutes and 10 seconds for them just to forget it and just feel that rage at the show in a safe space where no one's going to beat the shit out of them. But we're all here moshing together and throwing punches and kicks and pushing. And we're doing it out of getting this aggression out. Angry music can be hateful and dark, but it's not to stew in that. It feels for me like when I listen to like really heavy shit that's just fucking painful and dark lyrics and fucked up shit. It's a cathartic kind of, like, it's a healthy way to just feel those things. You shouldn't stifle down that anger and that emotion you're feeling. I truly think you need a good way just to healthily let it out and vent that anger. And it's kind of where Violent Nature just was just a song. It's just gut feeling. Don't think too hard on the lyrics. Just what feels good. What just feels like you're just getting that aggression out.
What do you want people to get out of an I Prevail live show?
Man, I love when we build our sets, because we try to build it like a roller coaster where first song, boom, you're in, you're off, you just crested that hill, you're hitting that first downhill, you're feeling that energy, you're feeling the wind blowing in your face, and you got the pyro and all that. And then after a couple of that, you bring it back down with a sing along. Everyone, there's no mosh and everyone's just singing along, and then pull the rug out and play a heavy one, and maybe throw a cover in here where people are like, oh my God, they're playing this song? What? I know, oh my God. And then find a way to cap it off in the last 3 songs, whether that's a big banger that everyone knows, or it's just the heaviest song we got that, like, we love ending with Gasoline, because it's like, are they going to play it? Are they going to play it? Oh, yes, they're playing it. And it's the last 5 minutes you get in our set to just unleash, whatever you got, all the demons you're holding on to. But out of a live show in whole, we really try to build this roller coaster of a show with the ups and downs and the rug pulls. But I want kids to be able to go out and relate to, these songs. I want them to feel it and sing it along, and just be, try to keep in mind, I don't want to just stand on stage and just hold the mic and say, I want to be excited. I want to be feeling this, and I want you to feel it too. And I want this push and pull of you're taking energy out, but then you're feeding it back, and I'm getting that energy back, and I'm pushing it back out and feeding y'all, and that's what I love about live music is it's just this give and take. You know, we've had shows where we're playing and a lot of opening up for some bands that are a little more radio rock, and we come out with some heavy stuff, and they're just don't like this, drinking their beer. It's hard to get that energy back and keep putting it out. But when we get out there and we play the first note of the first song, you see the 40 or 50 kids right in front of you that are like, they have that moment. It's like, yep, I'm taking that, and in 30 seconds, I'm giving it right back to you. And then the next song, you're feeding that back to me, and I'll feed it right back to you. It's just that, when people say it's a living, breathing thing, and it's like, what does that mean? It truly is, man. This energy, this almost this intangible energy that's going back and forth from the crowd to the band. It's when those crowds are good and you feel on, that's when we play the best shows. And I've seen the best shows when you look out and you see, man, it was a band called Kubla Khan. They were in Detroit and they played this big room, and I was blown away that I'm like, holy shit, these heavy bands are playing these rooms that growing up, like, only the big bands play. Now it's like metal bands are playing these venues. When you go and see him, and there's a call out line, he holds the mic out, and every kid in the floor just screams the whole line. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, man. But then you see that energy get shifted back to the stage, and then it gets shifted back to the crowd. It's live music's beautiful for that, man.
Your stage presence really is so powerful, and everything you said really conveys that. How do you think you've grown as a performer, as a frontman over the past 10, 11 years?
Oh man, yeah. I think the first couple tours was just like, what can I climb on? Can I hang from that bar on the ceiling? Can I climb up on these speakers?
Is that for you, or is that for the crowd?
I think it's a mixture of both. For me, it's like I'm feeling it right now. I'm just gonna do something stupid, and then on the other hand, it's I want these kids to walk away from the show and be like, dude, that guy was hanging upside down on the rafter, and I'm 34 now, and 20 pounds heavier. I'm not doing all that crazy shit, jumping off speakers and all that. But the bands that really left an impact on me when I was going to see more and more shows when I was in college were those bands, and that blew me away live. That I'm like, I'm gonna go listen to their music, and maybe I was familiar with them, but then I had just had that image of them playing in my mind when I was listening to that record on my iPod or my truck, and it just made that music resonate more with me. So early days, it was like, I'm getting in the crowd, I'm jumping in the crowd, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then man, a few years after that, I did start feeling myself just like getting a little too comfortable and just going out there playing the song, walking across stage, high-fiving someone, doing the part. And I don't think there was really a moment where I was like, what are you doing? But looking back on some videos, live stuff, I'm like, I don't have that same energy I used to. I know I'm getting older, but shit, I gotta be more entertaining. I'm taking too much from the crowd. I'm not giving enough back. And in the last few years, when you're able to have a bigger stage and have more production and different risers, and you can walk up and perform here and walk over around the riser and play with the stage more, there it's easy to kind of forget that it looks cool, but it's not memorable. You're not, like I said, I don't feel like I'm feeding enough energy back to the crowd. So over the last few tours, it's been something in top of mind of, don't don't forget, you got to perform it too. You can't just play it. You got to perform it. And um yeah, I'm working on my cardio. We're getting back into it. This year's going to be I want to make these shows memorable and not be so greedy on stage by just taking the energy and just singing the songs. I want to get back to putting 150% back out and being exhausted every night, because that's when it's like, all right, oh, I'm done. Get back to the green room, slam a beer, take a shot, and go, oh man, that was effort. I got too comfortable for a few years, 5 or 6 years ago, and I need to tap back into that, and that's been top of mind.
Is that a crash for you after the show?
Yeah,
How do you
yeah.
come back down to earth?
It's, man, that adrenaline dump after. It's sometimes, especially when we play the shorter sets. When we play the longer sets, when we're doing the headliner, you're doing 70 minutes or so, and you get done. Yeah, you're tired just from it's an hour and 15 minutes set. You singing and running around, pyros blowing in your face, and and you feel that exhaustion because it was a longer set. But when we get into the opening slots or dark support slots where it's like, oh, we got 45 minutes, 50 minutes, dump it, just dump all the energy, play. You don't have to worry about that extra 30 minutes at the end of the set. Like, you have to like prepare for. So when we get off the stage, it's like, all right, well, now I'm not completely wiped, but I'm running off that adrenaline still. I still got that like, oh man, that show was sick. Or even if you gotta have a short term memory, because even if you flubbed up a line, or like there's been times where I go to talk to the crowd, I'm like, anyways, here's the next song. You gotta forget it. You gotta forget it and move past. But even in those shows, you get done and you get back to the green room and we all get changed, shower up, and you're sitting and you're just joking with the boys and pointing out a moment of the side. Dude, did you see that guy in the banana costume? Dude, he was running that pit, man. That was sick. And oh yeah, did you see that girl with the sign? She was, screaming the whole time. Like we have those like little debriefs after the show, and kind of it keeps the love of the live show for us alive. And man, it's such a mood killer when someone comes in after the set and they're like, I don't know, it sucked, man. Like yeah, I don't know. That was a bad show. Well, then everyone else is like, well, I had a great show, and I know John had a great show, and I don't wanna, I don't, or Dylan had, you know what I mean? Like, you just got to keep that energy up, because you don't want to ruin it for the other guy, even if you had a bad show. Like, if I fucked up a line or slipped on stage and looked like an idiot, I can't walk back and be like, take my ears off. Whatever, that show sucks. Because then you're just bringing the mood down. We're here. This is the greatest job in the world, man. We got to, remember that. And don't be selfish and suck the energy out of the room. If you just had a bad night, like, we're still up on stage playing in front of 1,000 people, playing songs we wrote. Like, who cares? No one's gonna remember that stupid thing you said, or that how you fucked up that guitar line, or you dropped your stick on that fill. No one's gonna remember that. Move on. Remember that we're doing something incredible here, and don't forget that. Don't ever forget that.
Can you walk me through any performances that come to mind, whether you killed it at a festival? What are those moments like afterwards, or somebody was watching side stage and you're like, oh my God?
Oh man, there's a couple that come to mind. There's a we did a little cover medley before one of our songs, and we played Slayer, Rain and Blood, just a little clip of it at Louder Than Life, and walked off stage, and one of our friends was like, dude, Gary Holt was watching you guys when you played that. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I hope we didn't screw that up. I hope he was like, hell yeah. But there's nights like that. When we played Tokyo for the first time, we opened for Bring Me the Horizon, and I think there was like 15,000 people or something insane. And we had one of our best shows of the year playing that, and it was such an incredible experience playing for new fans in a new country we've never been to. But yeah, I remember looking over side stage, and there's a bunch of Japanese bands that I'm a fan of, that they're all sitting there watching. I'm like, this is sick, man. Other side of the world, and bands that I respect and enjoy are here watching us, because we never come here. Now they get the chance to see us, and there's a handful of those moments where I look back and I'm like, man, we're here, wherever it is. We're here right now, playing music for fans and bands that I'm fans of, and they're watching us. Or just like, it's just the beer in the hand and the nod along with the music. That's the approval, where you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Are there any moments that come to mind where everything was just happening so fast? You guys were running on all cylinders. You just had to stop to realize what was happening.
Yeah, nothing that comes to mind immediately, but there's now I do. There'll be festivals like Louder Than Life, or played When We Were Young, or there's so many I could list off. But
Did you do this recent When We Were Young?
yeah, we did. Yeah, we we played the first 15 minutes. We didn't have there was, all the bands are playing at the same time. There wasn't a lot of crossover with any bands, and then the last 15 minutes was the first 15 minutes of Blink-182. And there's a moment where the set dies down and it goes into the ballad, the Into Hell song, so it kind of simmers down, and I just hear dick and fart jokes over yonder, and I'm like, so we got a few more songs left to play. We're gonna hurry and wrap it up because I gotta go see Blink-182. This song's called Into Hell. And yeah, but there's moments now where I try and be more in the moment where we're playing a show and instead of me going right in to be like, guys still awake out there, blah blah blah, this song's so and so, and then go into it, I try and be intentional and stop, look around, crazy, just ground myself for a moment and be like, this is insane. I cannot see the end of these people. I know I don't have my glasses on, but still, I cannot see the end of this crowd right now. This is insane. Download UK. Download UK was one where we're playing the main stage, and you look out, and like, there's tens of thousands of people there, and we're in the UK, and I see this giant plane flying over. There's I think it was like a Ferris wheel in the back, and I'm just looking out like, what a fucking view. And I'm up here with just 5 other guys, and there's 60,000 people out here. Take a break, look out, and sometimes I'll address the crowd and be like, sorry, I just need a moment. This is incredible. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like I feel that, and yeah, it's important to me to, a couple times a tour to ground myself and remember, like, this is a dream I never could have fully dreamed. This is better than any dream I could have had. And yeah, man, I'll say it again. I'm just incredibly blessed to be where I'm at. So when we're on stage and I'll have a moment, and yeah, man, sometimes I get emotional. I get a tear in my eye. I'm like, all right, stop. We having fun? Yeah. All right, back into the song. But yeah, man, it's important for myself to like remember where I came from and where we're at now. And what if tonight's the last show? I always have that mentality of like, we were playing we were playing we're in the middle of our longest Euro run in 2020, and COVID happened, and we were growing shows as we're getting to shows that were selling out. They're the biggest shows we were playing in Europe at the time, headlining, and COVID happened, and we're like, all right, well, we got to go home. We went home. 2 weeks, we'll get back on the road. 2 months, 6 months, 2 years. What if this never comes back? Like, our jobs aren't important. Like, we're just entertainers. Like, we're not in an essential job. We'll be the last ones to go back to work, So living that experience, never take a single day or show for granted now, man, because that could have been the end of the world. That could have, theoretically been the end of it. And did I soak up and appreciate every moment that I could? It's impossible to do it 24/7, but did I really truly appreciate and soak up every moment that I could? I didn't. So when we came back out with True Power, every show I tried for the first few weeks of the tour, be like, all right, remember this night, pick out some faces, try and burn them in my brain, remember where we were at, remember how I was feeling. And I just started taking notes on my phone of like, oh, last night this happened, this show, remember this, you felt like this, you felt like that. And now I'm going back and reading them, like, man, I'm glad I started doing that, just to remember to be grateful for what we're doing and where we're at.
You seem so intentional and purposeful with what you do, which I think attributes as to why you've had the success that you've had.
I I never was, and yeah, something just clicked, man. And I don't know. I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but just had this moment of like, you're not being grateful enough. And looking back on some things, someone will tell a story of that happened in 2016 on the road. I'm like, I don't remember that. And they're telling me more. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of do remember that. Well, man, now that all those 5 years were just a blur. So I want to be able to tell stories later in life and tell my kids, grandkids, or whatever. It would like, oh man, there's this one time we did this, and then this happened. And so trying to remember to live in the moment. And whenever there's something notable or something funny or something story worthy, try to write it down on my phone or my notes or my word pad on my laptop, just so I can have it and go back and remember, like, even the hard times, be like, yeah, that sucked, but where we're at now,
What artists have you toured with that you were blown away by?
There's
Whether
so many.
whether they're opening for you, you're opening for them, you're standing on the side of the stage, you're like, these guys have it.
There's so many. Pierce the Veil took us out years and years ago. It was like our third or fourth tour. Getting to watch them every night. We were the first of three, so I got to go. We finished the show. Finished the show. I'd run onto the merch table, help sign, sell some stuff, and then the next band would play. And I'd run back, grab a beer or two, clean up, and then I'd go watch Pierce the Veil. And just watching a band that's been doing it like 10 years or so at that point, just seeing like how dialed they were in between the songs and the banter and the talking in the crowd and going, I need to up my game. That's incredible. How are we going to do our version of that? And they were one of the first bands that we toured with that I was like, that's pro. That's a pro level. We're not there yet. How do we make our version of what's pro for us? What's the best show we can bring? So they were definitely one of the first ones. We toured with Beartooth and love those boys dearly. So we did a tour with A Day to Remember, and that was the first time got to play with Beartooth. And Caleb was in bands past that I was a huge fan of. And when Beartooth started, it's a funny story. Beartooth, I think they did like a tour where it was all like house shows and barns and stuff. So I drove like 2.5 hours away. I Prevail was like in the middle of writing our first EP, and I drove out there and saw the show. And there's like a YouTube video somewhere where you can see me crawling over the crowd to get to the mic. And I met him after. Nice dude. And then Beartooth started blowing up. We put out our music. We did Warp Tour together. Met him a couple times. Met some of the band dudes a couple times. And then when we did that A Day to Remember tour, they played right before us. And I'd go watch them almost every night until it was time for me to go get ready for show. And man, his energy, the band's energy, they're some of the best musicians and some of the best people. And then we got to do run it back. We did Summer Aloud with them, and that was such an awesome time. So those are a little more in the past, more frequent. Parkway Drive, one of my favorite bands growing up. They asked us to come support them in Australia for their 20-year anniversary tour.
Crazy.
Unreal. Seeing breakdowns in arenas like that. Like I think it was some nights were like over 10,000 for sure. I'm probably underselling them, but we played 7 shows. They had I urge anyone watching, I urge you to go check out one of their live performances from Australia of the 20-year. Their stage production was next level. They had a stage in the center of the arena where they'd walk through the crowd, get up, play 1 or 2 songs. Then this drawbridge would come floating down. They'd walk across, and then the kabuki would drop, and it showed like it was like an overpass, like cityscape. And it wasn't like, all right, front man's in the middle, drummers in the back, everyone's like lined up. They all like played with the stage and played in different spots. And I'm not trying to give all their tricks away, but they had dancers that would come out and throw fake Molotov cocktails that made the stage look like they caught on fire in different parts. At one point, Winston, the singer, gets on the bridge, and then the song kind of like has an extended bridge, and he floats 50 feet in the air. And then the song starts again, and pyro shoots off the bridge, pyro shooting down from the ceiling, up from the floor. I watched every fucking night and was blown away. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. But that was another band that I watched every night and was like, we can be better. That was so inspiring to see a band that's been doing it for 20 years just put on metalcore theater. Like it was unbelievable. And that was one that when we got off that tour, I was like, time to revamp our show, time to revamp myself as a vocalist, time to what you can't just be like, oh, I like that, we're gonna do that. Oh, I like that, we're gonna do that. It's like, okay, they did that and it looked amazing. This band's got this crazy video content that looked amazing. What do we want our show to be? It's got to be that level. How do we make the I Prevail version of our show that gives you that feeling of that you just watched something once in a lifetime thing? But Yeah, man. I'm as a fanboy of music and metal and rock and everything in between. Uh, I still go to shows when I'm home. I'll go to tours and go to shows and see friends or just see a band that I've never seen. And when I see a band have a moment, it's like, oh, that was so cool. I wanna give that same feeling to our fans when they did that moment or whatever it was. How do we give our fans that moment? Like what do we do? Like how do we do that? And trying to find it and find that thing and put it through our filter or create that thing from scratch to craft this show. It used to just go out, we had a backdrop, we played the songs, had fun, had a little crowd banter, played a cover or something. Now it's like I want every it's a tall order, but I want every tour we play a kid to come out and be like, I think that was the best show I've seen all year. I don't think we're there yet, but it's a goal that we keep climbing for. It's something that, kid comes sees us in Detroit. Oh, they're gonna be in Columbus in 4 days. Fuck, I'm driving down there. I'm driving down. You know what I mean? It's like you want to have that show that just kicks the doors off the building, blows the roof off, whatever turn of phrase you want to say, but I just want to have that experience for those fans. I got that. Like I want to give that back.
How do you know when the pyros are coming out? How do you not stand in front of the wrong one by accident?
So
you have them everywhere.
Yeah, dude. So
yeah, we do.
we work with some couple different pyro teams, and they're all incredible, very very knowledgeable, very cautious. But on the front there's the jets or the kindling look. Then you got the boxes and there's tape marks, and we'll have the first rehearsal, and you're walking around the stage. You're like, okay, that's where the tape mark is.
Is that for you to stand in?
That's
or
no me to
avoid?
be like, don't go there.
Oh.
And then the songs. All right, this song, this song, this song, this song. They don't got pyro. I can be wherever. This song, this song, this song. Pyro the whole time. Be in this area. And I'm being a little more intentional of being like, all right, when I'm performing this song, I'm going to be on this riser for this half, and I'm going to go do this and this for this bit. Okay, I'm out of the way of the pyro. Cool. My hair's down. Don't got to worry about it. But it's still a living, breathing thing, the show. So, there could be, there'll be a young kid stage left up on the barricade. And I'm like, well, I wasn't planning on going over there. I'm going to go over there and dap the kid up or toss him a set list or something. Oh, it's self-destruction, lots of pyro. I'm going to have to wait till the next song, So it's something new for us the last couple of years to keep in mind. A couple of us have almost singed our eyebrows off. We were playing Chicago, and I just got into it. And I at the end of the set, we played Gasoline. And right before the song starts, Steve teases the riff. I'm like, you know what it is? Get the fuck up. This song's Gasoline. Pyro guy, set it off. Or pyro guy, empty the tanks. And I look over and he's like, and he sends it and dumps the tanks. And there was one night in Chicago where it was really windy and we're playing outside. And I went up to stand up on the front riser. And the pyro was going to cross in front of me. And I knew I'm gonna stand like this. It's going to look so cool. And I'm standing there and the wind's blowing. The jets go off. And I'm like, I had to step back because I was like, is my eyebrow still there? Oh my God, holy hell. Yeah, there's been some fun moments with pyro. Someone may have got a little too close to the fire and may have had some bodily functions happen unprompted. I won't throw their name under the bus, but yeah, playing in 98-degree heat on blacktop in Florida with pyro will sometimes your body just loses control of its functions.
Do you have a favorite Pierce the Veil song?
Yeah, man, that Selfish Machines record, Paraphernalia, and it's funny. My friend who passed away a few years back, he and I had some really good memories with certain bands, and that record was one of them. And Paraphernalia, I think I'm saying it right. We would drive around in his car, my car, and certain songs would just be screaming or singing at the top of our lungs, and that was one of them. And then, before he passed, we started touring with Pierce, and they, after a few shows, asked me if I wanted, because there's a feature, A Day to Remember, Jeremy does the feature on there, and they asked me, they're like, want to come up and do the song with us? I was like, uh, yeah. So that song's got a little special place in my heart. And then after my friend passed, we toured with them again. They went on a hiatus, and then when they came back, we on the True Power tour, we brought them out as direct support. So it was like a, hey, it's your first show back. You're not sure if you're gonna headliner yet. Come tour with us. Like let us return the favor. You brought us out. Let's bring you back out. And they asked me to come up and do that. And that tour was a little more special, knowing that like whatever you believe in, wherever he's floating around in space, that was like one of our songs, and I got to go out there and play it every night and just have him in the back of my mind. So that's a special one for me.
What is it like taking over the vocals from Jeremy?
Man, that was Homesick was one of my favorite records. That changed the game for me. It opened my taste in music. I think I bought that record 5 or 6 times. I bought the CD, lost it, bought the CD again, bought the deluxe, bought the vinyl, bought another vinyl. So I that record is ingrained in my brain. But he was someone that I admired and looked up to as like someone who had really tough, really thick screams, like really like recognizable heavy vocals, and then had this really cool tone and really melodic, really beautiful voice. And that was one of the records I put on when I was driving to school and sing along to and practice singing, practice screaming. So to be able to do do that part live was like a, I hope I do it justice, but it was cool, man. It's a really fond memory to look back and be like, man, a band that I grew up listening to. I have just great memories growing up listening to their music. And another band, same thing, but that they collab together. Now I get to just sample a little part of that and be included in some ways. Man, it's cool. I look back on that very fondly and very, very grateful.
Could we do some rapid fire?
Sure.
First thing that comes to mind.
Mhm.
Favorite go-to restaurant on the road?
Oh man, when I'm in Texas, Whataburger. I
Really?
have to have Whataburger, man. I lived in Dallas with Next for some time, and I found Whataburger. I was like, why isn't this anywhere else in the world? So yeah, anytime we're down there, that's the one. I had a birthday in Houston, and that's all I said. I was like, after the show, I want to play Magic the Gathering with my friends, and I want to have Whataburger, and that happened. I was happy.
We're recording in California. Does In-N-Out do that to you?
I-
Oh, come on.
I like it, man. I'm gonna piss off everyone from California, but it's good. Animal Style is pretty solid, but it's solid. It's solid. But
Hang on the bus or hang in the green room?
I got this little tattoo. It's fading out. It's silly bus time, and that's what we were talking earlier. It's like you gotta enjoy the time after the show. It's silly bus time. We go on the bus, do our extracurriculars. Some of us having a drink and just having fun. It's like a bro sleepover every night.
First song that made you want to scream into a mic?
It might have been Duality by Slipknot. If not Duality, it was something off the Iowa record. That hearing that, I was like I said earlier, that the aggression and the grit and the pain in that, like, how do you do that? I want to figure that out. So that Iowa record was crucial for me.
Favorite I Prevail song to perform live?
Recently, Violent Nature, just for the fact of like, it's just 2 minutes of ass beater. In the past, and still to this day, Bow Down it holds a special place in my heart. What that song was written about came from a place of like proving everyone wrong and getting to play that every night and look out the crowd and hear everyone scream that line back to everyone who doubted. It's like, goddamn right.
Hardest city around the entire world to win over the crowd?
New York. I feel like there's just so much going on in New York. Like,
In the city?
Yeah. So we have fans that, like, don't get me wrong, we have awesome fans there. People that drive in from elsewhere outside the city. But I feel like there's just so much going on, and they can go to a bar any night and see a show. Everyone comes through New York. There's always something going on. How do you stand out? How do you make these kids go, holy shit, that band was sick? Not like, oh yeah, I went to that I Prevail show at whatever venue down the street. It's hot. How do you make these kids go, this is going to be the best thing you've seen all week?
Favorite tour snack that needs to be on the bus?
Oh, we all have different ones, but for me, High Noons IPA or what's it called? There's some beef jerky that I love. I forget what it's called, but
The main one, or is it like a?
it's a certain brand. I can't remember. It's like white and red. I don't know. We'll go with beef jerky, beer, high noons, and whiskey.
Pre-show ritual or superstition?
We have a pre-show ritual ever since day one. If you ever seen Hot Rod, the movie, we have this. There's one scene where he goes, "Ancestors protect me, may they protect you." And yeah, we do that every show. And then we
Every
each have-
show.
Yep, every show. We each have like a personal like handshake, and most of us, it's been the same one since day one. 2000 was it 13, 14, Pittsburgh, our first show till the last show we played. It's always been the same.
Dream artist to tour with?
The tour with.
Performing today, still active.
Okay. I mean, Metallica. That was like I said earlier, that was a life-changing record for me. Now that they're touring, I finally got to see them. We played Sonic Temple with them. Was it this last year? But I would love to tour with them since they're doing like the 2 nights, same city, different sets. I would just love to play those arenas and be able to watch that band play a huge amount of their discography.
Were you into pop punk and emo
Oh, yeah.
bands? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like Stories so far?
Love Story so far. The same friend of mine, John, we love those first 2 records on that EP. Were still to this day, my manager and I were driving around LA, and we had our shared playlist on Spotify, and the Story so far came up, and I was like, oh man, hold on, stop it, pull that record up. We're just gonna listen to the whole record. Yeah, I love that band.
And then you toured with Neck Deep also.
Yeah, that was that Pierce the Veil tour. It was us, Neck Deep, and Pierce the Veil. Yeah, big fan of Neck Deep, especially that record that came out. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of the record, but I think Jeremy McKinnon co-wrote or produced it or something. But yeah, that record, when that came out, I was a fan of them, knew some of their music, but touring with them, getting to see some of these new songs live was awesome.
You're touring with Godsmack coming up.
We toured with them last year. We're touring with
3 Days Grace.
Yes, correct.
Have you ever toured with them before?
Never. We played after we did a CD release show in Pontiac, Michigan. Then we played 2 hours away at Soaring Eagle Casino with 3 Days Grace, and that was the first time I've seen them, and they were so good. Having both vocalists now, you hear the old songs, and you're like, oh my God, they still sound better than ever. They play some of the newer stuff when Adam was gone, and they both share parts, and it's cool to see those songs. And then the new record was incredible. So one of my favorite records of the year, and getting to see the old era, the newer era, and this new combined thing. It's incredible. I'm so looking forward to seeing these shows and watching them every night.
How do you guys prepare what you're going to do to tour with them? Like, how do you build out the stage? Are you actively figuring out what their audience might like, to what your fans are going to want, to what you guys want to do?
Yeah, that's kind of going back to the set list aspect of building the set. Is okay, we play the songs, these chunk of songs we know the fans want to hear. It's the top few on our Spotify. Got to go with those. Sprinkling some new ones. Then when you're filling in the gaps, you're looking at, okay, what would be a song in the first bit of the set that if you're a 3 Days Grace fan, never heard of us, what do you think is going to win them over? Do you think something that's going to be like a Violent Nature's type of song that's like blow these people away? They've never heard anything that heavy, per se. Or is it going to be something with a big chorus and something that feels like it could be played on the same hour block on a radio station with 3 Days Grace? So it's something you don't know until you do it. And maybe there's benefits to both, there's downsides to both. So it's a beautiful challenge that we have, being the band that we are, that we can write. I know I'm going to say heavy and metal, and there's going to be people, they're not real metal, whatever. But to be able to play a heavier set with a band like, okay, say we're opening for Slipknot. Okay, we'll play a couple of songs that people know that got the big choruses, but we're going to lean into the heavier stuff. Okay, we're going to play with a band like 3 Days Grace. Well, we know that they write big choruses and big hooky, catchy songs. Let's make sure we fill the set with another 1 or 2 songs that feel like our best choruses, because if that resonates with their fans, maybe this stuff will resonate, and then they'll find the heavier stuff. Or on the vice versa side, you get a heavier bill or a heavier lineup. We'll play some of our heavier songs. Maybe we won't play the ballad, but then maybe they'll find it on their own, and then they'll be an I Prevail fan, and they'll come to our headliner show, and then we play it all.
Right. Could we pivot over to your trading card store?
For sure.
What do you have? Everything: baseball cards, Pokemon cards, Magic Gathering.
We just have trading cards, or not sports cards.
No sports.
No sports, no Yu-Gi-Oh. Everything else.
Why no Yu-Gi-Oh?
We don't. It's not a game that we all play or have a strong fan base in. There's a couple other stores in the area that focus on it, and we're like, they're doing it best. Let's leave it to them. And the fan base, the Yu-Gi-Oh fan base, I don't know anything about. But when it comes to like Magic, Pokemon, the new game Riftbound, any of these, a One Piece, all of the guys at the shop all have a passion in it or play tournaments. We have a strong community with those players, so we're going to focus on those. And when new games come in, we'll test them out. We'll try it. If it sticks and we can build a community, we're going to learn the game. We're going to learn how to play it, figure out the mechanics. Someone's going to learn, like one of the co-owners is did the judge test for this new Riftbound game, so he knows the game in and out. So when people want to come and learn, we're right by a middle school is just right in our backyard. And so if kids come and want to learn how to play, we've had, guys our age that come in with their, 10-year-old kid. And yeah, his friends, collect Pokemon or this or that. And we're, do you guys have events? Oh yeah, we have tournaments. Well, those are kind of like, tournaments, but we'll have Saturday. No one's coming. We don't have an event. Nick will be here, and he's very well versed in Pokemon. If you want to bring your kid up and come learn how to play with your kid, we'll teach you how to play, open some packs, and try to foster and create this this community. And it's, man, I'll rewind a bit. When COVID happened, I just got into Magic when COVID happened, and
you weren't even as a kid.
I love Pokemon. Played with Pokemon cards, all the Pokemon games. Magic, I had friends that played it, but it never appealed to me for whatever reason. Then COVID happened, and lived in a small town, so it was like those bars and restaurants were like the last ones to shut down. So when me and my friends were hanging out, bars started closing. We're like, we used to talk about movies all the time. That we, have you seen this movie? Oh, dude, you gotta watch it. Oh, have you seen this movie? No, you gotta watch that movie. So we made a list. They'd come over to my place. We'd stay until 3 a.m. drinking whiskey, sharing whiskey, watching a movie. And then after a week or two of that, we seen them all. We're like, buddy's like, you want to learn how to play Magic? I'm like, sure. He loaned me a deck, played it. The next night, played it. Next night, we played it. And the comic book store I'd go to get my comics on Wednesdays, he met me up there to get some Magic cards. And I was like, what are you getting? He's like, I'm getting this pack. I was like, I'll get a box of it. Open up my first pack. I hit like an $80 card at the time. I was like, is this good? He goes, dude. I was like, all right, I'm in. And ever since then, we would meet up like 4 nights a week, 7 to 3 in the morning, just playing and playing and playing, becoming obsessive with it. And it's something in my brain, like the creativeness of building the deck and what works with it. And like, it's not just, you get the deck, you play it. It's like, oh, that didn't really work the way I wanted. I'm going to change these cards out, and I'm going to try and do this with the deck. And that like puzzle aspect of it really scratched an itch in my brain. But then I started hearing about, these pre-release events where you can go play in a little tournament, and you open the packs, you build a deck, and you play right there. It seemed like a challenge. And there's these Magic cons where there's a big convention center 4 times a year that people come out, and like, I'm going to go check that out. And
is that in Michigan?
So there's one this year, one's in Vegas. Atlanta was one. Philly was one I went to. I went to Vegas one a couple times. There's one in Amsterdam this year that I'm trying to go to. But so I started traveling. I'm hopping all over here, but I met some friends in the metal world that played Magic. And we started a group chat that had 4 of us in it. Now there's like 30 guys in it that are all metal musicians or metal adjacent or like working in the industry that all play Magic. We keep in touch. When we tour together, when we have a tour, we leak our ad mat of the dates, be like, who's going to be in the area, who wants to meet up. Porter from Atreyu, who lives in Germany. We played a festival. He came out. We played the fest, and then we sat in the green room and played Magic all night. But going back to those events, I found this, we weren't touring. Shows started opening up, but I found this new community that like I met a lot of friends in, and just found a new sense of purpose and like I said, community. And it was really cool. It really got me through the lull of not doing anything, the uncertainty of the music future that we had. So I had this like soft spot in my heart for trading card games. As nerdy as it sounds, it has this really cool community where you gather up. You imagine the gathering, gather up, you play cards, you bullshit, and hang out with your friends, and you just have fun doing something challenging. Um, so yeah, when I started going to this shop opened up near my old place, I'd visit. They I got more into different games, and they're super cool. And then they ended up splitting and going. They wanted to open a new shop, and they were like, "Hey man, would you like to be a partner in this?" It's like, yeah, yeah, that would be sick. So now I'm a co-owner in a shop down the street from my place, and if I'm not touring, my fiance doesn't love it, but I'm up there about half the time,
You're
and
working.
yeah, well, work is usually just hanging out and meeting people and playing games with people and learning the games. And like I said earlier, when someone comes in, is like, yeah, my kid was wanting to learn how to play Magic. I played it 20 years ago, but I don't really know what's the new sets and what. Oh well, you know what? I've been playing with this deck. This is a lot of fun. It's easy, low level entry. I think your kid will love it. And does your kid like dragons? Does he like elves? All right, well, I got this deck over here. You check it out, and that I don't know. It's cool to help other people find their passions.
Do you have a Pokemon collection too?
I did. I don't know where my old cards are. They're in my parents' attic somewhere. I need to go digging. But I have a huge Magic collection now. I got a little bit of the new Riftbound. I got a little collection of. But yeah, man, I got way too many cards. So it was a blessing that the shop opened up because I just took my 30,000 cards. I was like, here, inventory. And then I kept a small chunk, and that small chunk's growing now because I keep buying the new sets. But but yeah, man, yeah, it's a cool community. I'm so lucky and grateful to be involved in it.
What excites you most about the new I Prevail era?
It feels like it's a wide open world. We've always been a band that every record after Lifelines, we try to push the boundaries a little bit, incorporate a little more rap and new metal and electronic into it. Then True Power, we try to add a little more of the heavy elements and the more metalcore elements, and try to expand with trying new sounds. This record, we tried to incorporate a bit of that, but we're really focused on, all right, what made I Prevail? I Prevail in day one. Let's revisit that. Let's focus on big choruses, catchy choruses, heavy breakdowns, but let's get back down to the root of what I Prevail was. So looking to the future, it's like, all right, now we revisited that. Now it's, you went back in the circle. Now it's time to go back and see where can we be creative and expand our sound in this next era. And it's fun, freeing, and a little bit of uncertainty because it's like, well, now we could try anything. It feels like we're not locked in and have to write in this lane. But we try something, spend a week working on something, and go, yeah, that's not it. That's a little stressful. You spend 30 hours on something, and you're like, just not seeing the path for it. But on the other hand, it's fun when you're like, there's no rules, just write something, and okay, that's kind of cool. But what if it did this, and then it just creates this whole new, opens a pathway in your brain. Like, whoa, I didn't even think we could do this thing after the chorus. What if it just did this? We went this direction with it, or it's just the creativity is wide open.
Besides Violent Nature, do you have any other favorite songs on the album? Top 3?
Yeah. Synthetic Soul, the album opener. It's funny. We had an opening track, and then we had a couple days left before we went to Nashville to track everything. And we were like, you know what? Let's try and write like an interlude, something like a little industrial, techy. Who knows? Let's just start writing. And we spent a whole day, and we got the verse and chorus, and we're like, well, this isn't just a throwaway interlude track. This feels like a big song.
We have to build this out.
So we kept working on it. We spent 3 days working on it, and we're like, I think it's good. Let's go home and sleep on it. And then we came back the final day, and we're like, this feels like an album opener. You guys feel that? Yeah. All right. The other song's cut. It's not even making the record anymore. It just cut that song, and that song just came in. It was like the last squeeze of the orange, where you're like, let's see what else we can wring out of it. And there was more than we expected, and it was a fun song to create. And I'm really looking forward to throwing this set eventually. But yeah, it just feels it's funny that we went to write just a little album filler and it turned into like this complex song.
Is NWO on that list?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So good.
dude. I feel like it was such a cool 1-2 punch on the record where you go synthetic soul. It's just feels like it's got this whole it's just got a lot to it. It's just got a lot of what I Prevail is into that song. And it just felt like a good way to set up the record and be like, you're gonna get a little bit of all of this throughout the record. And then the next song, here's an ass beater. And it's just energy, it's up. And the breakdown at the time was like the heaviest thing we felt like we could write. And yeah, those two songs. And now we've been playing NWO live. It went from like, oh, I really like that song. That's probably my top 5. Now we're playing. I'm like, oh, this might be one of my favorite songs to play.
This has been so awesome getting to talk to you.
Dude, likewise. Dude, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thanks for coming by, guys. The album's going to be linked down below. Go listen to it if you haven't yet, and go see you on tour.
Yeah, we'll be touring all year, all 2027 until I die. I don't know. We're just going to be doing it. So thank you all for the love and support. And yeah, thank you, man. This has been incredible. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Eric. I'll see you.
Yeah.
See you guys. That was so good.
Dude, that was awesome, man.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. Today's conversation is brought to you by FanDuel.